Penn State and Illinois set to meet in Champaign on week number 3, 11 a.m. kickoff on Fox. This is a game where I think ultimately a lot of people are going to be on Penn State very heavily. I think I looked last night, like 95% of the bets were already coming in for the Nittany Lions. Rightfully so. Penn State's looked really good in week number 1 and number 2. Obviously, week number 2 was against Delaware. Week 1 at home against a very tough West Virginia defense. They performed very well as well. Drew Lars coming into kind of his stature. He's only got 12 incompletions on the year, 4 touchdowns. He's not been very trigger happy in the pocket. He's been making methodical throws, very good throws, not turning the ball over. Penn State has not turned the ball over yet. But let's look at this thing on paper. As you can see, I mean, this is just kind of rough sketch looking at it before I get into some of these numbers. You got Penn State number 7 at 2-0, Illini 1-1, just lost to Kansas last Friday night. They kind of came back late when Kansas took the foot off the gas. When I first saw this line come out yesterday, it was Illinois at plus 16, I think. And originally I was like, yeah, I kind of like that number. It's home. It's 11 a.m. kickoff. Penn State traditionally isn't very great at 11 a.m. kickoff games on the road. So automatically I'm leaning the line out plus 16. Well, then you start breaking down things and getting deeper into it, and you kind of want to go the other way. So again, obviously these numbers are a little misleading because Penn State played Delaware last week. Delaware's not the best in the world. The touchdown they gave up, you can see here, was 63-7. It was a long touchdown run early first quarter. Now, on the flip side of that, let's look at the Fighting Illini. Now, you played Toledo in week number 1. Obviously, Toledo is very slept on. Not they fall into that category of OSG5 Toledo. They're not that good. Toledo's not bad. Don't get it twisted. Now, let's break down how this game went. Illinois 2 for 8 on third down, not going to win you a football game. Here it did, but it's not going to beat Penn State. You had 1 interception, and you had 10 penalties for 100 yards. You can't have that and expect to beat Penn State. Now, you did rush for 4.5 yards per carry, which is really good, and you went 18 for 26 passing. If you can do that right there, duplicate that, you'd be in, one would think, good standing. I think you returned about 65% of your returning production from last year. So let's flip it. Let's look at how you performed the next week against Kansas. Now, Kansas, on the other hand, is not the best team in the world defensively. Offensively, a lot of people need to be put on notice about this Kansas offense. Defensively, though, lots of room to improve. So as you can see, it was 34-7 basically at the end of the third quarter. And Luke Altmaier, 72-yard touchdown run, and then another 6-yard touchdown run. So let's break it down. Jaden Daniels with 21 for 29, 277, 2 touchdowns and a pick. I think Illinois' pick was pretty crazy. I may be getting it twisted for one of Kansas's, but it was a really good interception there. Altmaier, leading rusher for the Fighting Illini. Not necessarily a good thing, but also not necessarily bad either, because he had that one very long touchdown run. So that does play a factor into it. So let's compare week 1 to week number 2 for Illinois. 6 penalties for 58 yards, so you lost the penalty battle. You tied for the turnover battle. Luckily, you lost the time of possession. Still averaging 5 yards a carry, which is pretty good. 19 for 28, about the same passing. 4 for 10 on third downs. Not going to get down. I think that puts you at like 6 for 18 on the year, so like 33%. That's not going to win you a game against Penn State. Now, there's some other numbers that I wanted to look into and factor in. Against West Virginia, who, if you aren't familiar with the Mountaineer defense, very stout. They're very good against the run game. Penn State averaged 4.2 yards per carry in that football game. I'll go show you that, guys, the numbers. And I want to show you all this just so you can kind of make your own opinion. Again, a lot, 325 and 3 touchdowns. Defense, passing defense is pretty good. Garrett Green isn't bad, and he didn't make too many bad throws in this game. So, again, West Virginia went 4 for 14 on third downs. Credit to Penn State's defense. Now, Penn State, on the other hand, you can't go 3 for 9 offensively. I think they had a lot of third and long situations. I can't remember off the top of my head. I did watch that full game. But you pass for 332. If Drew Lar needs to come out and pass for 300 and can, it's going to be a good day. 4.2 yards per carry, only one penalty. That's where you want to be at. I'm not even going to look at the Delaware game. I'm going to go straight over to the NCAA football website. Now, I did rank this. I sorted it by attempts because Penn State's technically, as you can see, they're 1,000%. This is red zone defense, okay? Red zone defense, if it'll highlight. All right. They're technically 1,000% as well, which is not where you want to be, but they've only had 2 attempts. That's the kicker here. So let's look at Illinois, right? See how many attempts they have. See how many conversions they have. Illinois is at the bottom. They've had 10 red zone attempts on defense. They've given up 7 touchdowns. Still 1,000%. Awful. I mean, it's in there with Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Western Michigan, Middle Tennessee. Like, not where you want to be. There's 130-something teams, 132 technically. Not where you want to be, okay? So Illinois is going to have to fix that and fix that pretty quickly. If you flip it and go to rushing defense, I think was the second one that was like really bad for Illinois. 122nd, giving up 224 yards per game. Not where you want to be against a team that has 2 of the best running backs in college football. Not scoring offense, passing offense. Where do these teams rank? Well, I don't see Illinois on here. Illinois is going to have a tough time running the ball, I think, against Penn State. So let's just go ahead and go to page number 3. Okay, they're not there, which is good. But they're still kind of towards the bottom in this thing. Number 93 in rushing. Illinois is going to have it a pretty rough day, in my opinion. It's luckily they're at home. It is an 11 a.m. kickoff, like I said. I wonder if Sports Reference has the kickoff times. But if you just look back at Penn State's kickoff times for previous seasons, for whatever reason, 11 a.m., they just don't normally come out hot. Yeah, here we go. All right. So 12 o'clock, that's at home. 12 o'clock at home. 12 o'clock on the road. Lost 41-17. That was last year. 12 o'clock at home, lost. That's all the games there. I think they played Wisconsin a few years ago. Week number 1, barely won, 16-10 on the road. Beat Rutgers 28-0. Lost to Michigan 17-21. Lost to Illinois 2 years ago, 20-18 at home. Penn State's just traditionally, now I know James Franklin struggled in big games anyway, but if you look at it even further, just 12 a.m. kickoffs, for some reason not listed here, but 12 a.m. kickoffs or noon kickoffs, whatever, this is the big noon kickoff game. Penn State struggles. I think you see a slow first half from Penn State, hey, we want to run the ball, and then we're just going to throw it all over you kind of approach. I think Drew Lar has 1 or 2 touchdowns. I think Singleton and Allen both get a touchdown here. I think Penn State scores probably high 20s, low 30s. For that reason, I was thinking about taking the under, and I was thinking about taking Illinois to cover because Illinois would essentially there just need 2 scores, and you'd probably cover. But I don't trust Luke Altmaier. He's got 3 interceptions. He's not very careful with the football. If they can figure out a way to contain him and force somebody else to beat you, I think Penn State could run away with it. 1 or 2 turnovers could put Penn State over that cover. So I'm going to take official lines I'll put on this YouTube channel on Thursday night or Friday. But I'm going to take Penn State to cover the game. I like Illinois first half to cover. I like the under in the first half as well. So that's just kind of my early analysis. It's Monday. Let me guys know in the comment section how you guys think this game is going to go. Again, I think I've got Penn State in the playoffs. I got Penn State, I got Texas, I got Georgia, and I got USC. As of week number 3, September 11th, that is my Final Four. So, again, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 500. We're getting there, getting closer week by week. Yeah, so hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I don't, Penn State's probably going to win this game. I don't think Illinois really has a shot. I just want to know, do they cover?